In this video, I want to show you how to determine the rule of a square root function if you're given the vertex and a point. So in this example, we're asked to find the rule of a square root function that has a vertex at 4, -5, and we also know that the function passes through the point -5, 1. Our first step is to determine which rule we need to use. By that I mean we have to choose between two different rules. We might use the rule y equals a times the square root of x minus h plus k, or we might use the rule y equals a times the square root of negative x minus h plus k. The sign of b is determined by the direction that the function heads. So to determine that, let's take a quick look at a sketch of this function. If we start at the point 4, -5, we know that this is the vertex. The function also passes through the point -5, 1. So we know that it starts here and it's going up this direction. Any function, any square root function that heads up and to the left has a b value that's negative. B is less than 0. So we know then that we're going to use this equation to start with. So we have y equals a times the square root of negative x minus h plus k. Our second step is to substitute in h and k. Remember that a vertex, and you'll remember this from working with quadratics, the vertex, the point is hk. So we know h and k because we're given the vertex. So if we take this function here and substitute in h and k, what we'll get is y equals a times the square root of negative x minus h is 4, plus k. K is -5, so it's plus a -5, and we can just write that as -5. Our third step is to substitute in x and y. So we're given a point that the function passes through, so we'll substitute our -5 in for x and our 1 in for y. What we'll get is 1, because y is 1, equals a times the square root of negative. Remember, our x value is -5 minus 4 minus 5. And now we can solve this for a. Let's add 5 to both sides. We get 6 equals a times the square root of, let's simplify under the square root sign while we're at it, -5 minus 4 is -9. We can simplify this further. 6 equals a times the square root of a -9 is +9. The square root of 9 is 3, so 6 equals a times 3. We can divide both sides by 3, and we're left with 2 equals a. Now that we know a, we can substitute a back in to this function here where we had h and k, but not x and y, and we'll have the rule for our function. So what we're left with is y equals a is 2 times the square root of negative x minus 4 minus 5. So I hope that helps you find the rule of a square root function if you're given the vertex and a single point.